Hi guys, it's Line from Hobby, and in this video I will show you how to crochet this super easy ribbed hat perfect for beginners. It is literally the easiest hat I have ever made, and my favorite part about it is that it fits perfectly. We will be crocheting this hat using our own head measurements, so you definitely need a measuring tape and some yarn. For my hat I'm using the Amigo Chunky yarn, which is a very chunky, lightweight and super soft acrylic yarn. I just want to point out that you can use any yarn you want to, just make sure that your hook matches your yarn. Otherwise you might end up with a hat full of holes, and we don't want that. So besides from the yarn and the hook and the measuring tape, we're gonna need a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle. We need to start out by measuring our heads to know how long our hat should be. So grab your measuring tape and measure from the top of your head down to where you want your hat to go. So it's the length of the hat, right? So for me that's 25 centimeters, and if you want to add like a folded brim like my hat has, then add about 5 extra centimeters. Now measure your hat and remember to write it down. Okay guys, let's get started on our hat. The first thing we need is a slip knot, and the way I like to do it is to simply fold over the yarn like this, so you have a little loop. Then see if you can get your fingers through there and grab the long tail over here like this, then pull the long tail and this short tail at the same time. Bloop. Then it kind of tightens in and you have your loop here. Now get your hook and place it through the loop. Tighten the loop by pulling the long tail. Okay, and when you're starting to get in position to crochet, make sure that the little tail here is pointing towards you. And now we're ready to start our foundation chain. Our foundation chain is going to be the length of our hat, so it needs to measure the amount of centimeters that you need for your hat. And to do a foundation chain, you will do chain stitches. So you will grab the yarn and pull it through the little loop here. That's one chain stitch. Twist the hook to catch the yarn and pull it through. That's 2. And 3. And you simply continue doing chain stitches until you reach the length of your hat. So for me that was 30 centimeters. So I have quite a way to go here. You can pause the video and I'll meet you back after. Once you reach your desired length, we are ready to start our row 1. For row 1, we're going to use half double crochets, and therefore we need our yarn to get up to the height of that stitch. So we will chain 2 stitches, and don't worry, these 2 stitches is not going to be added to the length of your hat. They're gonna be the height of the next row, so they're actually gonna be going upwards, more like this. Okay, so to do our first half double crochet, we need to put that into our 3rd stitch from the hook. And let me just count with you here, because this loop on the hook doesn't count. So it's 1, 2, and 3. So our first half double crochet will go into this loop. To do a half double crochet, you will yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, catch the yarn and pull it through. Now you got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through all 3 loops. And that was your first half double crochet. You see how these 2 stitches we did are now formed upwards instead of adding to the length, and that's exactly what we want. So let's do a half double crochet in the next stitch as well. So yarn over and insert your hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop. and you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through all 3 loops on the hook, and that was your second half double crochet. And for row 1, you're gonna put 1 half double crochet into each of these stitches until you have just 1 stitch left, okay? I'm gonna do a couple with you here, and then I'm gonna let you freestyle on that. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and go through all 3 loops on the hook. And you just continue doing that. You can pause this video and I'll meet you back at the end of this row. So I'm at the end of my row 1. I did all of my half double crochets and I have just this last stitch left. And from now on, what you need to remember is every time you get to this edge where you have this little tail, you're gonna put a single crochet right here. So I will do a single crochet, grab the yarn, and pull through both loops here. Yes. Then I will chain 1 and turn my work. So now we're ready for row 2. Because we are at the edge still with the little tail here, we need to once again put a single crochet in the first stitch. And for this row 2, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be working in the back loops only, right? Let me just show you what that means. So if you look here, you see that we have something that kind of looks like a V, and this is 1 stitch. So 1 stitch contains of a front loop, which is this one, and a back loop, which is this one. And from now on, every time you do a stitch, you will go through the back loop only. So we're here at row 2, and as I said, because we have this little tail, we're going to start out with a single crochet. So go back here and find the first stitch, but the back loop only of that, and pull up a loop. Yarn over and go through both loops. So that was your first single crochet. Now for the rest of the row 2, you will be doing half double crochets in the back loop only. Let me show you. So to do a half double crochet, you will yarn over, and remember to insert your hook through the back loop only. Grab the yarn and pull it through. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through all 3 loops. And you just continue doing these half double crochets in the back loop only, all the way to the end of the row. So you can pause this video and I'll meet you back at the end of row 2. So this was actually the end of our row 2. So I told you at the beginning of this video that this was the easiest hat I have ever made, and I'm actually quite serious about that, because now you already learned everything you need to finish this hat. Cool, right? So just continue to do row 1 and 2 until it fits around your head. Okay guys, once you reach your final destination, just make sure that you finish in the side of the row where you don't have your little tail, so on the opposite side. So once you're here, you will fold up your piece in half, like so, making sure that you have your hook as the front piece. And now what we're going to do is we're going to crochet these 2 pieces together. And we're going to do that by using just slip stitches, sorry. So you will find your very first stitch here and insert your hook into the back loop only. Yes. Then you will find the stitch that matches that on the other side, which will be this one is the first stitch. And over here you will go through both. Okay. Then pull the yarn all the way through and through the last loop as well to make a slip stitch. So what you're gonna do is to slip stitch these stitches together all the way through. So on the piece facing you, you will go through the back loop only. But here on the second piece, you will go through both loops. Pull the yarn through all the way. And you will just continue to do that all the way down the piece. Okay, so once you reach the end here, I will make sure to have a good long tail. Then I will cut my yarn bowl off and put it out of the way. I will do just one chain here and then pull the yarn through. Then I will turn my hat inside out. It looks quite weird at this point, I guess. But then I can fold up my little brim here. And now it's time to close up the edge of the hat. Whoop. To zigzag through the top here, as close to the edge as possible. And it doesn't matter if your needle kind of goes through the yarn. That just secures it even more. So zigzag a few times and then pull and tighten the yarn. And you just continue zigzagging all the way around. Once you reach the beginning of your zigzag, pull it really tight. And then I like to do the last part on the wrong side of my hat. So I will just pull the needle through the little hole here to get on the other side and pull it through. And then I will turn my hat inside out again to, you know, see what I'm working with here. So now you're on the inside of your hat and you still see you have a little hold here. So you just want to close that up by sewing these sides together, just kind of randomly, I guess, but just make sure to really get in there to close up that little gap. See how easy that actually is? Once you feel like it's very good and secure, you can just secure it a few extra times because we want to be able to wash our hat without anything going up. Then cut your tail and turn your hat inside out one more time. And there you have it, your very easy ribbed hat. Ta-da! So the great thing about this hat is that you can pimp it any way you want to. You can make your own pom-pom, you can use a fur pom-pom, you can use 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or no pom-poms at all. Just do whatever you feel like, they're great anyway. So that was all for me. I hope you had a good time. I know I did. So if you liked this video, remember to subscribe and press the like button. And I'm sure I'll see you again another time. Bye!